Patrick Mahomes in his first 6 seasons has won 3 Super Bowls, including 3 Super Bowl MVPs. He's been to 6 straight AFC championships. He's been to 5 or 4 out of the last 5 Super Bowls, winning 3 of them, including the last 2. And everybody thinks that Patrick Mahomes' success is because the referees are rigging the games for Kansas City to succeed, and the NFL wants their poster child to win it all because it's good for ratings. You see, Patrick Mahomes, to become the poster child of the NFL, he had to earn it. He had to work for it. The NFL just didn't see Patrick Mahomes get drafted to Kansas City and say, you know what, that's going to be the new face of the league. He had to prove himself. And you want to know why Patrick Mahomes continues to run the NFL? Because he actually knows what it takes to win. And you know what it takes to win? Being able to step up in the biggest moment when the game is on the line in the fourth quarter. Think about why the Ravens and the Buffalo Bills came up short against the Kansas City Chiefs. They didn't get blown out. Those games were close. The difference is that Patrick Mahomes made the big throws in the fourth quarter when the game was on the line. He had that big throw to MVS, the final drive of the game against the Baltimore Ravens. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson, late in the fourth quarter, he threw an interception to triple coverage. You had Josh Allen, who balled out in the divisional round against Kansas City. But in the fourth quarter, midway throughout, he overthrew Stephon Diggs. He overlooked Stephon Diggs when he was wide open trying to get the touchdown, and they had to take 3 points. The only quarterback that's been able to get through Patrick Mahomes to make it to a Super Bowl has been Joe Burrow. And when Joe Burrow did it, back when they beat the Rams, when they played the Rams and lost, what did he do in that AFC Championship game? Mahomes had 2 interceptions. Mahomes, he also did terribly or played terribly in the second half of that game in the AFC Championship that year they lost to the Bengals. And Joe Burrow played better than Mahomes in the fourth quarter. He made more big plays in more crucial moments to give Cincinnati the W. That's what you have to do when you play Patrick Mahomes. You have to be able to capitalize off his mistakes if he makes any. And you got to be able to outplay him in the fourth quarter. And the problem with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and all these other quarterbacks is that they're never able to outplay Patrick Mahomes in the biggest moments of the game, which is the last 5, 6, 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. Think about the Super Bowl that just got wrapped up. Brock Purdy played insanely well in that game. But on his final drive, he led the 49ers to 3 points. Meanwhile, Patrick Mahomes led Kansas City to the win. That's the difference between Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the other quarterbacks in the National Football League. You put the ball in his hands in the fourth quarter, you know you're in good hands. You know he's going to win the game for you. The other quarterback on the other sideline from Patrick Mahomes, you know, you put the ball in their hands in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden, last 5 minutes, they forget how to be an elite QB. Like Lamar and Josh Allen. They're making stupid decisions. They're overthrowing guys that are wide open. You don't see that out of Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is a killer. He has that Mamba mentality, as people like to call it. You see, the reason why Patrick Mahomes is making it look easy isn't because of the refs. Patrick Mahomes doesn't need the refs to win. Hell, the refs weren't the reason why they won the Super Bowl. The reason why they won the Super Bowl was because Patrick Mahomes got it done for Kansas City. Brock Purdy couldn't. Josh Allen couldn't. Baltimore couldn't. Lamar, he won MVP this year, and I love Lamar. But if they were to give MVP after the season, it would go to Patrick Mahomes, because look what Mahomes did with a way worse supporting cast than what Lamar Jackson had. You can say that Lamar is a more physically gifted quarterback than Mahomes, but what does it matter when Mahomes is the dude who's still finding ways to come on the winning side of things in the end? You see, the rest of the NFL is trying to find the next Patrick Mahomes, because when you have a dude this talented, it's really hard to lose. It makes it hard to find ways to lose games when you have a quarterback who can overcome mistakes, who can overcome limitations. Lamar Jackson, as much as I love him, he isn't somebody that can overcome adversity when the game is on the line. You saw it in the AFC Championship. When adversity struck, what was he doing? Throwing his helmet on the sideline, getting frustrated, losing his composure, throwing interceptions into triple coverage. Josh Allen, overthrowing Stephon Diggs, overlooking Stephon Diggs when he's wide open, trying to get the big play. With Mahomes, you don't see this. He gets into the fourth quarter, and that's when he just goes into God mode. The NFL can't beat Mahomes because these other quarterbacks don't know how to win the game when they go up against them. You want to beat Mahomes? Outplay him in the fourth quarter. And no quarterback in the league seems to be able to know how to do that. I don't know why. The fourth quarter, yes, the final quarter of the game, but what's so different about the football being played in the fourth quarter compared to the first three? Makes no sense to me. If you're playing good the first three quarters, why can't you play good the last 15 minutes of the game? Especially when you need to play your best ball to win the game for your team. For a trip to the AFC Championship or a trip to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, he's the second best quarterback in the league to me right now. I don't care about the injuries. You want to know why? Because he's the only quarterback outside of Tom Brady to be able to beat Mahomes to make it to a Super Bowl. And that right there is the reason why Joe Burrow should be regarded higher than Lamar and Josh Allen. Those two guys can't seem to crack the code, but Joe Burrow has done it. You want to know why? Because Joe Burrow himself is also really reliable in the fourth quarter. Hell, you put the ball in Joe Burrow's hands with an opportunity to beat Mahomes, I can trust him to get it done 9 times out of 10. You can't say the same for Josh and Lamar. These teams in the fourth quarter, they just play it way too safe when you go up against him. And you can't play it safe against Mahomes. Mahomes in Kansas City don't play it safe. You heard what they said. Hell, if the 49ers would have scored a touchdown, guess what we would have done? We would have scored a touchdown and we would have went for 2 and won the game. You want to know why? Because Mahomes plays to win. These other quarterbacks are playing not to lose. That's what it seems like. And it just seems like they just get way too in their head. They get way too caught up in the moment. And they aren't able to take down Mahomes. And that's why this dude is the king of the NFL right now. It's the same thing with Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he crushed dreams. Same thing with Michael Jordan. And that's the same conversation that Patrick Mahomes is in right now. Think about how many great players we have in this league who don't have championships because of Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen. If Mahomes wasn't playing right now, he might have a Super Bowl right now. Same thing for Lamar. Hell, Kyle Shanahan, he might have 2 Lombardi trophies right now. And the conversation that we're having about him right now would be way differently than the one that we would be having if he had 2 Super Bowl wins right now and he was able to take down the Chiefs without Patrick Mahomes being the starting quarterback. Mahomes is one of those players that, as long as he's playing, it's going to be very few quarterbacks that are really going to be able to live up to what the high expectations are every single season, which is them being able to win a Super Bowl. Lamar just won his 2nd MVP. People expect him to win a Super Bowl when it's all said and done. Bring another Lombardi to Baltimore, but that may never happen because of Patrick Mahomes. Think about Michael Jordan when he was in his prime during the 90s. There were so many talented NBA players during that time who were some of the greatest to ever play, like Karl Malone, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, who never won an NBA championship because they couldn't get past Jordan. Michael Jordan was so dominant that the only time teams won championships during the 90s was when he was retired doing something else, or he wasn't playing basketball. This dude played baseball, came back, and won 3 more damn championships. That shows you the level of dominance that Michael Jordan had on the NBA. And it's the same level of dominance that Patrick Mahomes has had on the NFL, and the same level of dominance that Brady had during his 2 decades in the league. People doubted Brady when he left New England. He won another Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in his first season during COVID. Out of all times you thought Tom Brady wouldn't be able to win a Super Bowl. You would have thought that COVID, him being on a new team, having to learn a new system, get acclimated to new teammates, he wouldn't be able to get it done. But it seems like every time you counted out Michael Jordan, or you counted out Tom Brady, or even Kobe, or even Mahomes, they find a way to pull through. They're guys that you never bet against. They're somebody that you may not like because of how successful they are and how dominant they are, but they're somebody that you always know that you're going to get their best every single time you play them. The rest of the league, they're trying to find the next Mahomes. That's why these teams are willing to give up so much to get the number one pick from the Bears to get Caleb Williams. That's why he's getting so much hype, because everybody wants to get the next Mahomes, because when you have somebody this good, he makes it easier to win because he's damn near unstoppable. Steve Wilkes was on the sideline pulling out all the strings, pulling out every single trick that he had in that defensive playbook, and it was not working. It's just like the damn dude was possessed, it felt like. It just felt like it was destiny for Mahomes to win this Super Bowl. That's why the NFL can't stop him. Nobody else has him. Everybody else wants him. Even if you do have a Josh Allen or Lamar, you still would take Mahomes. And these are two of the most gifted quarterbacks ever. That tells you how much of an impact Mahomes has on the league. There are so many great quarterbacks that didn't win championships because of Brady. Peyton Manning, Big Ben, couldn't get past Brady. It's crazy that one player, even though this is a team sport and there's 11 guys on the field, can have this big of an impact on winning and losing. Patrick Mahomes is that dude, man, and the NFL doesn't have an answer for him. He just knows how to win. Other quarterbacks don't know how to win, at least against him. It took Joe Burrow in Cincinnati a damn defensive masterclass performance to stop this dude. They forced him to have 2 interceptions, 56 yards in the second half. They played him again in the 2023 AFC Championship, and it was a way different ball game, and Kansas City got it done because Joe Burrow threw an interception late in that game. Mahomes, what did he do? He didn't have the costly mistakes in the fourth quarter. He was better than Joe Burrow. And unless you can outplay this dude in the fourth quarter, you're going to have a hard time finding ways to beat him. It's just hard to win against Patrick Mahomes. And this dude is going to continue to win until there's a quarterback that's able to step up to the place and show up the final few minutes of the ball game, the final 2-minute drive, to put his team in position to win. Are you going to be that quarterback, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson? Or are you going to continue to allow Patrick Mahomes to continue to get it done the last 2 minutes and make it look easy? It's like it's effortless for Patrick Mahomes, just like it was effortless for Tom Brady. It's like you knew if Tom Brady had the ball in his hands, no matter how much time was on the clock, he was going to win the game. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. The NFL, they're trying to catch up to this man. They can't stop him because these other quarterbacks don't know how to outplay him when it's all on the line. And that's what separates Patrick Mahomes from the rest of the NFL. That's why he continues to win, and that's why a lot of NFL fans are growing frustrated. They're getting sick and tired of continuing to see the Chiefs win the Super Bowl every year. What's the point of watching if we already know who's going to win? Well, if you want to get some parity in the league, let's start rooting for some other quarterbacks to finally up their game and pull through in the fourth quarter against Mahomes. The NFL, they don't have an answer, and Mahomes is probably going to end up becoming the GOAT. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up winning 10 Super Bowls when it's all said and done. He could be like Wilt Chamberlain or Will Russell or Bill Russell.